Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Players NIL Podcast. I'm Mark Kester. I'm really excited to have my guest today, Michelle Meyer. And we want to welcome Michelle to the podcast. Michelle, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Well, we met last week and had a conversation, and you have two individual titles that I'm interested in. The first is you are the NIL coordinator at San Diego State University, just down the road from me here in Los Angeles, as well as the founder of the NIL Network, an NIL company directory. So why don't you just tell us quickly about those two businesses, and then we'll get into question number one.
Yeah, so I founded NIL Network in November of 2020, really with the realization that name, image, and likeness was coming to college sports, and that I didn't believe that enough people were talking about it, sharing resources, and really understanding this massive change. So I tried to create a hub of resources to help athletes, coaches, and administrators really navigate this new space. And so I've been running that for the last 15 months or so. And in November of 2021, I accepted a position at San Diego State as their NIL coordinator. I've lived in the beautiful city of San Diego for the past 3 years, so it couldn't have been a better fit to come in here and build their program and the education for the athletes here.
Great. Well, you're a perfect guest for the Players NIL. And in following our format, question number one is, what is your relationship with sports? And so, what I really want you to share with the audience is, your early memories, your early experiences, people that influenced you, how it influenced you in your decision about academics, socially, your peer group. And why don't you just give us a little background on your relationship, love or hate, with athletics?
Yeah, it's pretty wild but sports have been my whole life and really my whole career as well. When I was 5 years old, my mom put me in soccer and softball. So I started to play those sports, picked up basketball and volleyball in junior high, and played. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school, playing volleyball, basketball, and softball. I had to give up soccer because it had a conflict, even though I love that sport as well. And was lucky enough to get an offer to play volleyball in college at UC Santa Barbara. So I played there, season professionally in Denmark. And when I came back, beach volleyball had just been added as a collegiate sport. And I guess backing up a little ways, I have always been I feel like I am a coach by trade, because I look back at elementary school, and I actually started running a camp in about 4th grade on the playground, where I would bring in the first graders, and I teach them different gymnastics moves or like different monkey bar tricks and whatnot. And we had a program. I printed out certificates of completion, much to the dismay of the computer lab instructor at that time, printing so much. But so when I got back from playing professionally, beach volleyball had just been added, and I was lucky enough to get my foot in the door coaching at the University of Hawaii. So twist my arm, moved out to the islands, and coached on the beautiful beaches of Waikiki for a few years. Came back, coached at Pepperdine for a year, and then really landed my dream job at USA Volleyball, running the beach high performance program, which was all the camps, clinics, tryouts all over the country, up to the international competitions for our age group, so U17, 19, 21, and college championships. So that was an incredible role. Met so many people and really learned a lot about what programming and all that looks like. I guess I would say that when California passed SB 206 in the fall of 2019, I was actually working on a strategic plan to get beach volleyball added for men in college. So I was very deep in studying the economics of college sports at that time. And I saw that California passed that law, and I was like, holy moly, I knew this would always come to college sports. I never really knew it would be from a state standing up to the NCAA. So very much started studying it and seeing what that would look like. And and then here I am with NIL Network in San Diego State.
Wow, take a breath. Well, what a resume, and all of it involving athletics. Tell us a little bit about yourself outside of athletics. What are your interests? Where's your favorite place to travel? Some of your favorite food? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So when I actually lived in Redondo Beach, so right in your hood, it was all volleyball all day. But when I made the move down to San Diego, decided I wanted to pick up a new sport. So I guess we're still in the sports world, but started rock climbing. And so I've been rock climbing now for about 3 years. Absolutely love it. I went to Thailand in 2019 to rock climb out there, as well as Mallorca, coached the beach volleyball camp, and then got some rock climbing in off the coast of Spain. But yeah, I can't wait for international travel to really come back to the level it was at before, because there are so many things I gotta go see still. So yeah, I would say probably, Southeast Asia is amazing. I want to get back down to South America. I spent 3 months in Brazil right after college, just traveling the coast down there. So yeah, any way I can get out and do things.
That's awesome. You've led quite a life, and that's exciting. Tell me what athletics taught you.
Oh gosh, I would say just I I guess it's hard separating myself from athletics because it has been such an integral part of my life. But I think the main foundation is really perseverance and not really taking no for an answer. When you're competing for that starting position and you're not quite there, you show up every day and you work harder and you lift more and you try to get in better shape and do anything you can to get that starting position, or to get that college scholarship, or that position on whatever team you're looking for. So definitely for me, and especially now with founding a company and trying to navigate these waters, perseverance for sure. And then I think the second one also being teamwork, which to me also is networking and just meeting with people, understanding where they're coming from, where they're going to, and utilizing your network, because at the end of the day, there's a ton of good people out there that are willing to help as long as you are willing to ask for it. So I think those are my 2 biggest points.
Yeah, I mean, great lessons. And so that transitions into question number 2, which you've started to answer, is those principles are embedded in you. They're part of your DNA now, right? And so every day, unfortunately, in the last 2 years especially, there's challenges, right? And so every day you have to reach inside and try and recapture some of those lessons from athletics. And competitiveness is one of them, right? Teamwork is another one that you mentioned, and the networking, but specifically at NIL Network, how has it helped you to be an athlete? Besides being a business person and entrepreneur, has it allowed you to relate to people? Has it allowed you to communicate in a language that people understand? Tell us a little bit about the NIL Network and the company directory.
Yeah, so I think with NIL Network, going back to the perseverance part, it's like I'm building my own website on that at this time. And so even understanding how to go about that, Googling everything, looking at YouTube videos, and really, there's so much. I don't know how many people listen to this have tried to build a website before, but there's so many things that go wrong all the time that are definitely, things that are handled usually by website developers. But I think that's been an interesting challenge for me in the past 15 months, is really learning all the ins and outs of building a website. And if it crashes and goes down, guess what? You are staying on that computer until it's back up and running. And so I've had some very late nights of just pulling my hair out, really trying to understand what's going on. But I look back again, like on my career in sports, it's like, again, you're not taking no as an answer. You're going to sit there and figure it out until it works. And when it does work, it is beautiful, because you just feel like a website guru. But yeah, and so with NIL Network, with this industry moving so quickly, it's always looking at what are the current trends and what can I pull together to help everybody to navigate this space in this world. So one of the challenges, especially on the website side, was putting together these directories, which it's a plugin that, again, has all these updates to it, which changes the whole format. And so constantly going back and updating that. But I think it's a hugely useful resource, especially for athletes who are trying to navigate this new space and understand what service providers are out there to help them, maximize their NIL, but also who they can trust, because it's such a new industry that's startup heavy. And I want to believe that about 99% of the companies that are jumped into this space are in it for the right reasons and really have the athlete's interest at heart. But it really is only going to take one that's really going to hurt this industry, and it's just kind of a scary place to be. So yeah.
Well, it's a great answer, and I love how you've used athletics to better your life, and I assume the people around you. And that's what the Players NIL is all about, is education and growth and development and encouragement and coaching and networking and all the things that you have demonstrated. We want our athletes to aspire to be, just like you, and so congratulations on all that. And is there a website or a place people can learn more about the NIL network?
Yeah, so nilnetwork.com, or I'm pretty active on Instagram as well, which is NIL Network. I have a Twitter, but not that active on that, unfortunately, or yet maybe I'll become a big Twitter user at some point, but not quite yet.
I'm sure our audience will want to follow you, so they'll reach out. So that brings us to the last question, and it's kind of an interesting question for you, because this is your daily job, your 9-to-5 job, as they say, besides your passion project, and that is, go back to Michelle Meyer, a junior in high school. What advice would you give her around brand building, around networking, around establishing credentials so that you could take advantage of name, image, and likeness? Unfortunately, you missed that opportunity, as did I.
Yeah.
I think my name, image, and likeness came from washing dishes in the cafeteria. Not much press around that. But if you could give Michelle Meyer, junior in high school, some advice and some career guidance and some thoughts, what would those be?
I think the one thing that I didn't learn until later in life was networking, and networking kind of, I don't know if up is the right word, but just not being afraid to ask for the meeting and not being afraid to reach out. We have so many resources available to us now that makes it so easy to reach people that resonate with you through, social media, or LinkedIn is a great one. And I think that my motto for this first, year plus of NIL Network has been always ask for the meeting and always take the meeting. And with that, I've met with, probably over 120 or so companies at this point, been on numerous podcasts and different news articles and whatnot, and had just a great learning experience from all of those things. But looking back on my early self and my career, I was terrified of doing that kind of stuff, and really didn't have the confidence to go out and just get told no. And I think I would have liked to have been told no more, I guess, growing up, and even connecting with your professors who have, once you get to college, and finding some different mentors in the space. I know that for myself, coming out of college, that I didn't really have any kind of relationships or mentorship with my professors. And I'm like, why not? These are great people who are in this career to help help students, really. And they're there to help, and they have great networks themselves as well. So I think that that's just a huge, missed opportunity for me, hopefully an opportunity for someone else.
Yeah. Great advice. And, you're everything that I think parents hope that we can give our children, and that is opportunities and self-confidence. So, I'm in the midst of writing a book about parenting young athletes. And one of the chapters is the two most important things you can give your children are opportunities and self-confidence. And congratulations to those that helped you acquire those two skills, because you have it in spades. And we want to wish you well with the NIL Network and with your work at San Diego State University. And thank you for being on the Players NIL Podcast today.
Thanks, Mark.
Have a great day.
Thanks.